Even the most hardened adventurers watch their steps in Baldur's Gate, where lives hold prices in copper and greed proves deadlier than dragonfire. Baldur's Gate has a reputation for being a rough place, where crime and opportunity walk hand in hand, and where anything can be sold or seized at sword point. If something can be given a price, it's for sale somewhere in Baldur's Gate. Drugs and poisons sit on shelves alongside tinctures and remedies, trade goods from Chult, mechanical wonders from Neverwinter, tomes of magic from Kalimshan, and the most believable counterfeits of each can all be found in the city's stalls. The Flaming Fist, a mercenary company paid for by the city, protects residents without the barest hint of civil delicacy. The Watch, the guardian force of the wealthy upper city, exists only to serve the patriarchs, the city's detached upper class. Meanwhile, crime flourishes under the control of the Guild, which oversees almost every organised criminal act, from dockside gambling rings to blackmail at Patria garden parties, either under the Guild's auspices or in defiance of them. Those who cut purses or throats make a decent living in the city, their talents traded as briskly and often just as openly as those of any other professional. For all its shadows and dark dealings, Baldur's Gate is not without its light. Some residents earnestly seek to make the city a safer place by banding together to make their own sort of imperfect but effective justice. Since its beginning as a quiet backwater community, Baldur's Gate has undergone a dramatic transformation, becoming the hub of danger and adventure it is today. Centuries ago, the hero Baldurin spent years questing in lands across the Sea of Swords and beyond. When finally he returned to his village of Grey Harbour, he brought fantastic wealth with him, much of which he gifted to friends and family. These boons greatly improved Grey Harbour's fortunes, launching businesses, expanding its docks, and seeing the creation of a defensive wall around the town. In honour of their heroic patron, the citizens came to call one of their new wall's passages Baldur's Gate. Within a generation, though, the gate became synonymous with the community, and the settlement known as Baldur's Gate began appearing on maps of the Sword Coast. The city's surprising growth attracted all manner of people: peasants affected by raiding and war, farmers rendered penniless by famine and drought, pirates seeking a neutral port. All types saw a chance to put their mark on the rapidly growing map. As the city swelled, questions of law and taxation arose. The community's eldest families, largely those wealthy enough to afford homes within the city walls, came to be known as patriarchs, and grew wary of the influx of strangers settling beyond their walls. The creation of various additional taxes on trade and travel led to violence breaking out between the upper city, behind the original walls of Grey Harbour, and the lower city, built on the slopes leading down the Kionthar River. Only the election of a new group of rulers, known as the Dukes and, collectively, as the Council of Four, put the matter to rest. These elected rulers have been part of the city's government ever since. Another pillar of order in Baldur's Gate formed when the adventurer Eltan, a noted warrior raised in the area, returned home from exploits abroad. Seeing the chaos that had splintered his beloved city, Elton united the city's independent mercenary companies under a single banner, that of the Flaming Fist. Elton used the mercenaries to quash what pockets of disorder he found, punishing lawbreakers for their crimes. The founding of the Flaming Fist marked a new chapter in the city's story. Over the years, Baldur's Gate has harboured countless evil schemes and conspiracies. Perhaps the most dastardly, though, was that perpetrated by Baal, god of murder, who foresaw his own death during the time of troubles. While in mortal form, Baal conceived multitudes of offspring, plotting to have them resurrect him. They actively hunted and slew each other, with the survivors collecting ever more of Baal's godly essence. Saravok, a Baalspawn and member of the Iron Throne Merchants Guild, sought to spark war with the nation of Umman and become the new Lord of Murder. Another Baalspawn, aided by powerful allies, thwarted Saravok's plan and brought stability, if not peace, to Baldur's Gate once more. Yet Baal and his faithful have menaced the city ever since. We will take a look at Baldur's Gate today, Its city landscape, Council of Four, military, law and order, economy, religion, and dangers. Baldur's Gate today maintains its independence. The original wall ringing the upper city still stands, and a second defensive wall now rings the lower city. The outer city, a collection of hastily made structures and shantytowns, runs along the river Kionthar. While the outer city might seem the most lawless, every district of Baldur's Gate has its own threats. In the upper city, patriarch families and government officials jostle their positions. Many are not above using private agents to acquire blackmail material, sabotage public appearances, or even frame innocents to secure power. The victims of these plots, and officials who want a fair and honest legal system, must resort to hiring their own agents to unearth conspiracies, break out unfairly imprisoned citizens, and obtain evidence the Flaming Fist cannot. The upper city's political intrigues and the outer city's violence spills over into the lower city, the city's middle ground. Rampant crime, class grudges, foreign threats, and economic pressures leave many Baldurians feeling trapped within their own homes. As a result, in recent years, many citizens have started banding together in crews. While this has given some of the city's people a way of feeling more in control of their lives, it's also increased the number of armed citizens on the streets. In the outer city, all the world washes against the city's gates. Here, crime and poverty are contrasted by wonders from afar and the riches of cultures across Faerun. Baldur's Gate has widely adopted a do not harm policy when it comes to faith and organizations operating in the city. Any group can operate so long as the city's important citizens are not harmed. Beyond all its dangers, Baldur's Gate is an adventurer's city, a place where a sword for hire can find a rich patron, join a secret guild, stalk killers for a bounty, or come to the aid of desperate citizens. As a great hero of Baldur's Gate once said, "Watch your step in the shadows, watch your back in the light. Win a prize beyond your wildest dreams, or disappear into forgotten history. Every day your life is on the line. Every day you could become legend." Welcome to Baldur's Gate, the Council of Four. Comprised of 4 dukes, the Council of Four presides over the government of Baldur's Gate. Though the Parliament of Peers and the Patriarchs hold a great deal of power, the Council of Four is the ultimate authority. It convenes in High Hall, a fortress in the middle of the upper city, and controls the Flaming Fist, the Navy, the tax collectors, and all public utilities, among other things. The 4 dukes that comprise the Council of Four are as follows. Grand Duke Alder Ravengard, who is a fearless soldier who rose up through the ranks of the Flaming Fist to become its supreme marshal. He has been a voice of reason and common sense on the Council of Four, if not the egalitarianism some hoped. If the Grand Duke is absent, the Flaming Fist is leaderless, and the Council rudderless. Duke Belin Stelmanner, reports of past or current influence from mind flayers are only known, but to a few. Duke Dillard Porter, who was once a respected businessman, but after a string of sour deals, he pulled back from his investments. Now he uses that time to enjoy the comforts that his wealth and title provide him. Duke Thalambra van Thampur, an acid-tongued, shrewd and aggressive woman. Easily the most politically savvy council member. She speaks little. When she does choose to debate, she speaks with a strength beyond what it seems like her age should allow. Baldur's Gate boasts 2 military forces, the Flaming Fist and the Watch. The Flaming Fist have a depiction of a red and gold symbol that has become emblematic of Baldur's Gate. The Council of Four funding the Flaming Fist, supporting it as the city's army. Thousands of soldiers currently serve in the Flaming Fist, in Baldur's Gate proper, at the fortress of Worm's Rock on the Kionthar River, and at the remote outputs such as Fort Beluarian in Chult. The Flaming Fist offer employment and a sense of belonging to any who can lift a sword and follow orders. Native Baldurians, immigrants, former criminals, and retired adventurers can all be found within the company's ranks. The Watch is orderly and regimented, and watch officers can spend their entire careers within the upper city. The watch maintains precise and predictable patrols. At dusk, the watch clears the upper city of everyone but residents, their household staffs, and guests bearing written invitations. The watch operates out of the citadel, a massive keep built into the upper city's walls. In times of crisis, bells at the High Hall and the citadel are rung simultaneously. The function of the bells is common knowledge around Baldur's Gate. Everyone in Baldur's Gate is expected to hew to common law. Murder, theft, assault, blackmail and fraud all carry severe penalties. A noble heir who steals from a shop might get away with a fine paid by a parent, whereas a commoner committing the same crime may be jailed or publicly flogged. Both the Watch and the Flaming Fist have the right to dispense immediate justice should they witness a crime in progress. In unclear situations, or when a person of influence is involved, the accused is jailed until a trial can be set. Powerful individuals are usually placed under house arrest, except in dire circumstances. Commoners await their trial in jail. On occasion, a vigilante or hired mercenary will break an accused commoner out of prison in order to ensure the accused's safety until the trial date. Lawyers must belong to the Barristers' Guild to practice, and the associated fees means they prefer to represent wealthy clients. Poorer citizens often must throw themselves on the mercy of the courts, or scrape together what coin they can to hire an adventurer or mercenary to find evidence to support their plea. Religion in Baldur's Gate is diverse, as Baldurians are permitted to worship whatever deities they wish, so long as they refrain from violent acts and practices that disrupt trade. While multiple temples rise within the city walls, hundreds of tiny shrines sit along the twisted streets of the outer city. Among the many deities worshipped in Baldur's Gate, a handful hold particular prominence. The Dead Three. These include Bane, the Lord of Tyranny, Baal, the Lord of Murder, and Merkel, the Lord of Bones, who make up the Dead Three. While these deities have lost much of their power, their faiths still command respect and fear throughout Baldur's Gate. While open worship of the Dead Three is frowned upon in Baldur's Gate, their worship is not illegal, so long as the worship remains in the laws. Every now and then, rumours surface that a powerful political figure is a Palspawn. These claims almost always prove to be smear campaigns with no basis in truth, though in some cases, such claims have actually raised a figure's standing in the public eye. Some other notable gods include Gond, whose temple is in the High House of Wonders, where the clergy build and test mechanical constructs and hire locals to experiment in invention and innovation. Helm, whose shrine is located at the Watchful Shield, located in the upper city. These clergy see themselves as protectors of the common folk and pray to Helm for guidance as well. Helm's followers also include members of the Flaming Fist, members of the Watch, mercenaries and others who require his protection. Ogma, an eye-catching, white marble pavilion in the upper city known as the Unrolling Scroll, serves as Ogma's shrine. Pilgrims on the road to Candlekeep often stop at the shrine to purchase or trade rare tomes. Adventurers looking for work sometimes linger nearby, waiting to be hired on missions to find lost books of magic. The last god we will speak about is crucial to the success of Baldur's Gate, that is Umberlee. No city reliant on the sea, such as Baldur's Gate, could do without a temple to Umberlee. Fisherfolk pray to their Queen of the Depths for good waters to ply their trade, and sailors beg for Umberlee's mercy before embarking on their voyages. Umberlee's adherents work out of the Water Queen's house, a magnificent structure on the city's docks. They provide blessings to sailors and identify relics dredged up from the deep. We will now discover some city landmarks. Today, Baldur's Gate is split into 3 districts as we have discussed. The wealthy upper city on the hills above the docks, the bustling lower city around the harbour, and the lawless outer city, which includes all neighbourhoods outside the city walls. Regardless of what district one might be visiting, certain features are impossible to ignore, like the wash of Grey Harbour, the shadows of Dusthawk Hill, or the gates that contribute to the city's name. 9 gates separate the districts of Baldur's Gate, providing the only points of entry to pass from the upper city to the lower city, or from the walled city proper to the outer city and the wider world beyond. Baldurians, particularly if they do not wish to reveal a crew or family affiliation to a potentially hostile audience, often describe themselves by the nearest gate to their homes. Terms like Gongator and Dragongator are widely understood as neighbourhood identities and are also understood as a way of eluding more troublesome connections. The nightly closing of the gates ostensibly keeps the patriarchs safe. Closing off the upper city pushes street crime into poorer neighbourhoods, or out of the city altogether. Beyond the upper city's well-lit streets and tightly watched gates, the other districts become much more dangerous after dark. The city's independence and general laissez-faire attitude toward the types of goods and people flowing through its port is no issue, so long as the government gets its cut. The harbour's most immediately striking feature is its machinery, with dozens of enormous cranes and countless powered scoops and cargo carts dramatically accelerating the loading and unloading process. Though designed by the Church of Gond, these marvels are run by the harbour hands, the most powerful crew in the city. The port itself is a tangle of piers, floating docks and anchorages, from the massive freighter's finger pier, catering to the heaviest barges, to the more ordinary slips at Northtree or Commonstock. A special division of the Flaming Fist patrols the harbour, yet it's no secret that the more expensive docks are safer than the budget options. Sailors and even whole ships have been known to go missing in Grey Harbour, with some rumours speaking of Old Choms, a mysterious sea beast capable of dragging ships down to the river's lightless bottom. East of the city, high above the scattered slums and cut-rate inns that stretch along the trade road, rises the steep yellow granite Dusthawk Hill. Local legend holds that the Dusthawk was Balduran's favourite hunting bird, and that the hill is one of the last known refuges of this endangered bird. Rumours also hold that werewolves lair in the sea caves under Dusthawk Hill, pretending to be ordinary smugglers or ordinary animals while plotting against the city. No city would be complete without a news service, bank, magic item store and tavern. Patronised by all levels of society, Baldur's Mouth is the city's primary news service and gossip rag. Utilising a small army of lantern bearers, the Mouth spreads news both by selling broadsheets on street corners and by shouting summaries of top stories at passers-by. From the slums of the outer city to the finest manor house sitting rooms, the Mouth is where Baldurians go to be informed, incited, and pleasantly scandalised. Baldur's Mouth is a prime source of opportunity for adventurers in the city. Even just reading the broadsheet can present adventure opportunities via advertisements recruiting mercenaries, hold substantiated reports of monster attacks ignored by the Flaming Fist, and more. And of course, should adventurers succeed in some high-profile venture, they might just find caricatures of themselves and stories of their exploits in the Mouth's latest edition. The thick, walled fortress of commerce has been a centre of trade in Baldur's Gate for centuries, acting as the primary location for banking and currency exchange. As much a bunker as a bank, the counting house squats on the waterfront, its 2 windowless upper stories heavily guarded. Most ordinary patrons never make it past the ground level offices, yet the majority of the counting house stretches below, extending down into the mud like a cylindrical stone taproot. Here lie the building's legendary vaults, where the city's patriarchs and merchants from across the world store items too valuable to be trusted to lesser security. Sorcerer's sundries. A dome of stained glass roofs, this tall round shop, casting chaotic shafts of colour down across several open-air floors that rise upon wooden pillars, connected by staircases and ladders. The bottom floor acts as one of the most popular magic shops in the city. Inside its delicate-looking but magically warded walls, customers can buy and sell all manner of curious and magic items. No wise person walks the streets of Baldur's Gate or enters one of its taverns without a weapon or armed escort. Volothamp Geddon, a notorious raconteur known for his tavern reviews, encapsulates his Baldur's Gate experience as hard on the stomach, especially when someone sticks a knife in there. The Elfsong Tavern is no different. From time to time, the disembodied voice of a female elf fills the tavern with a melancholy song, giving the establishment its name. The plot of patriarchs and the schemes of the guild operatives fill the gossip and whispers of Baldur's Gate. Yet, throughout the city, no names are as synonymous with dastardly acts as those of the Dead Three. The demigods, Bane, Baal, and Merkel, walk among mortals, personally seeking followers to their cause. More than once, it's rumoured, the trio has even trod the streets of Baldur's Gate. Nefarious patriarchs whisper prayers to Bane when they seek to gain power through coercion, intimidation, and forceful exaction of the law. Hang leaders, evil mercenaries, and others who rely on fear and control also pay homage to Bane. Those who want to evoke dominance and ruthlessness favour wearing black gloves, a nod to Bane's holy symbol. Merkel claims a following among those who wish to learn from or command the dead. Those who plunder tombs for lost knowledge. Grim entrepreneurs who see business sense in undead servants. Even pragmatic necromancers seeking to conjure secrets from the wealthy dead of Cliffside Cemetery all whisper prayers to Merkel. Of the Dead Three, Merkel's base of power is the smallest. Residents of Baldur's Gate rarely fear death by old age, a grim fact of living in such a dangerous city. As a result, few desperate elders seek the blessing of the Lord of Bones. Those who do, though, tend to be both cagey and wealthy, which means that although Merkel's worshippers are small in number, their resources have hidden depths. Since the time when the Palspawn Saravok plotted to start a war between Baldur's Gate and Ammon as a path to claiming Pal's power, awareness of the Lord of Murder's children has grown. The city maintains a grim draw for Palspawn, whether due to some foul influence in the city itself, or merely because of Saravok's lingering reputation. At the same time, worship of Baal proves darkly popular in Baldur's Gate. Few openly admit to worshipping the Lord of Murder, but there is an unspoken assumption that anyone who benefits from violent death has some respect for Baal. Assassinations and murder underpin many of the plots in the city, from the business of highly paid killers on patriarch payrolls to slayings of opportunity committed by outer city fanatics. Despite the Lord of Murder's decentralized worship, some believe a temple to Baal exists near or under the city, possibly in an ancient chamber beneath the sewers or carved into Dusthawk Hill. While the Dead Three occupy a prominent place in Baldurian spheres, their faiths currently have only the shallowest roots in the city. Symbols appear in graffiti with the flaming fist cracking down on overzealous fanatics. The cults of the Dead Three persist, causing many to darkly wonder why the servants of Bane, Baal, and Merkel hold such interest in Baldur's Gate. Crime is a powerful force in the city. Fearsome creatures hunt along cobbled streets. The organization known simply as the Guild unites cut purses, loan sharks, killers, thugs, con artists, grave robbers, cat burglars, and every other type of criminal in the city. The Guild operates under the noses of the Watch, and the Flaming Fists by adroitly keeping its illicit activities quiet. Each city neighborhood falls under the control of one or more kingpins, or crime bosses, who report to the head of the Guild. These kingpins style themselves as elite criminals, often adopting memorable nicknames and distinctively decadent dress. Rivalries exist between kingpins, and their territorial borders shift constantly. As long as these internal feuds don't disrupt guild business or draw the attention of the authorities, no one interferes. The lower city serves as the heart of the guild's operations. The locals here have enough money to make burglary, and protection schemes worthwhile, and the flaming fist is spread too thin to address every instance of petty crime. The current leader of the guild, Nine Fingers Keen, who disdains flashy garb and illusion magic. She appears to the world as she is, an unassuming woman of middling age and build. Keen's leadership over the years earned her a reputation of thoughtful pragmatism. When necessary, she seeks revenge for offences against the guild, provided doing so is profitable. Her methods are vicious when necessary, and she is as feared as she is respected. The oldest and least impressive of the city's gates, Baldur's Gate nevertheless remains the city's heart. As the only gate allowing ordinary people through the old wall, Baldur's Gate embodies the power imbalance between rich upper city patriarchs and lower city commoners. Once the sole gate leading to the harbour, it's still the primary route by which the city's wealth flows from port to patriarch. Other cities and nations keep a watchful eye on Baldur's Gate, which is growing in wealth, power, and influence. Baldur's Gate trades with coastal cities of Waterdeep and Neverwinter to the north, while contending with the aggressive mercantile nation of Amn to the south. Mass seeks to dominate trade on the Sea of Swords and views Baldur's Gate as a growing threat. Baldur's Gate joined the Lord's Alliance, a coalition of independent cities that include Neverwinter and Waterdeep, largely because of the disputes. Should they attack Baldur's Gate, the city can count on the other members of the Lord's Alliance to come to its defense. The closest nearby towns and cities are Candlekeep, the great library where travelers on the way to Candlekeep often stop in Baldur's Gate, anticipating that they can find such a book in the city's markets. Candlekeep is a massive library where the focus is on enlightenment, developing tomes and knowledge, considered the greatest collections of writings in all of Faerun. El Turil, a lawful city of pious folk, watched over by the Knights of Helm, Torm, Tyre, and Lathander. The two cities couldn't be less alike. Whenever Baldur's Gate has tried to seize too much territory in Eltergard's eyes, El Turil has responded by imposing taxation and shipments headed downriver. 'Tis sort of economic brinkmanship coupled with radically different religious viewpoints has created bad blood between the two cities. The last element to discuss is the coat of arms, population, and trade goods. The Baldur's Gate coat of arms represents the city's role as a hub for river and ocean trade, as well as nodding towards its namesake, the explorer Balduran. The symbol originated as a pirate emblem though, and its components hold a double meaning today. Originally, the alternating bands of water beneath the ship indicated the turbulent dangers of the sea, but also the rich rewards it can bring. The crimson flags of the ship reference the brutal life of a pirate, blood spilled on the deck or in the water. The crisscrossing ropes and canted sail symbolize the web of secrets and intrigue that mark a pirate captain's life. Today, some optimistic souls try to recast the seal, claiming its calm waters represent the city's desire to remain a peaceful power, and the clear skies symbolize a prosperous future. But those who know the city's history see the cunning and violence underpinning the emblem. For many, the contradictory interpretations make the city's coat of arms all the more fitting. The current population of Baldur's Gate is predominantly human, ranging around 120,000, with dyes, fish, imports from Chult, and nautical supplies being Baldur's Gate's main trade goods. Baldur's Gate is a fascinating town. To recap, it began as a harbour town where traders would meet who ghostlighters, folk along the Sword Coast who used lights to lure fog-bound ships to shore. When those ships ran aground, the ghostlighters would scavenge the wrecks and haul their plundered goods to the city, nestled on the north shore of the bend in the river Chionthar, and sell their plunder. In years since, Baldur's Gate has grown into a walled city. Today, its foggy streets run red with the blood of unfortunates who fall prey to evil opportunists, many of whom count themselves as nobles, traders, pirates, and assassins. An army of mercenary soldiers called the Flaming Fist keeps order in the city, and these soldiers answer to Grand Duke Elder Ravengard, a Baldur's Mouth Town reporter rambles on. Welcome to Baldur's Gate, a veritable nest of rats and vipers clinging to the rocky slopes. From their high perches in the upper city, the local nobles gaze down with veiled contempt upon us. The common rabble in the grimy lower city, this whole city reeks of blood, crime and opportunity. Get out there and make the gate your home. On our next video, we will be looking at mind flayers and their history. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, like and subscribe. See you on the next video.